Everybody, Michael here from Get Fit Over 40. I wanted to give you a TRT update video. It's been about 3 months, just over 3 months since I hopped on TRT at 100 milligrams per week, which I've been doing consistently. And so I had my blood work done on Monday. It is now Thursday. So I had my doctor's appointment this morning. It was a phone call, and we just went over some of the results from the blood work to see where I'm at, to see what kind of, if I need to make adjustments or anything like that, and to see what my levels are, because there's things that you need to be a little more concerned with when you're on TRT, like your red blood count, some liver stuff, and of course your prostate. So going in, before I started TRT, just to give you a baseline, I was at one nmol per liter, right? So it was pretty low. It should be between about 16 and 28. That's the normal ranges, and I was at 1, so very low. Basically going in also, before I started the TRT, my prostate, basically the proteins, PSA, I forget exactly what that stands for. It stands for prostate-specific AG, was, I believe, 3.6. It should be under 3.5, so it was slightly elevated, but not, a huge deal. So we'll get to where I am now. And I don't remember what my red blood count was, but I believe it was still within normal ranges, and my hemoglobin and my hematocrit was all pretty good, but we'll go over that. And so, so basically what happens is you take your last dose the Monday before you go in. So you go a week, and you kind of go in the trough of the TRT. That's what they like to measure you. So right after you inject, you'll slowly go up as it absorbs, and then it slowly comes down into a slight trough. But it's a gradual thing, right? So it goes a little up, goes a little down, and you want to obviously measure yourself right when it comes to the lowest before you inject again. So I went in on the Monday, did the test, and then you inject right after that, so you don't influence the testing too severely with a big, with a dose. And again, 100 milligrams per week, and I've been very consistent. I haven't gone over that at all, unless, the syringe maybe had a tiny bit more or less, which happens. Of course, you can't be perfect. So I take, it's 200 milligrams per milliliter, and I take 0.5 milliliters. So that's 100 milligrams weekly. All right, so let's start with the red blood count. It was, so the normal ranges are 4.2 to 5.4, and I was a 5.43. So slightly elevated, and he did bring it up. He said, you're just a tiny bit high there. And my hemoglobin, again, was just slightly over the 170 max. It was 173. It's supposed to be between 135 and 170. And my hematocrit was 0.52, and it should be 0.4 to 0.5. So again, not huge red flags there, almost within normal ranges, but they did flag, they come up as a flag. Anything that's outside of what they consider to be normal ranges, there's going to be like a little flag there. Now, my I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right. My aspartate aminotransferase was of 60, and it should be under 36. So that's the liver. Now, I didn't even remember to bring this up with my doctor, but it doesn't matter, because we're going to be doing another test in 3 months, and I'll make sure I go in there without having had many drinks on the weekend. So we did go to a birthday party, and I did drink more than usual at that birthday party. Not crazy, like I didn't get crazy drunk or anything, but I had a good handful of drinks, and that was on the Saturday, and then I got tested on the Monday. So that could affect the liver. So next time I go in, I'm just going to make sure that I don't do that, because I eat pretty good, and I'm not taking a lot of testosterone. It also is intramuscular, so it shouldn't really affect the liver too much. So unless there's something else going on with my liver, then that's just sort of a one-off. You can't just go and take one blood test and go, oh, this is the way it is. You need to take multiple blood tests, make some adjustments potentially, and then see where you're at. Okay, so tumor markers for the prostate, those were the ones, again, that were a little bit concerning, because they shouldn't be over 3.5. I think I was 3.6, very close going in before the TRT. And then it went to a 4.7. So he's not concerned, but he said you shouldn't go up when you get on TRT. It will go up sometimes a little bit, about 10 or 20%. He said yours went up 30%. So we're not talking crazy markers. And he's like, what we need to do is get a few blood tests, in another 3 months, we're going to do this again. We're going to see where we're at. And then, so let's get onto the testosterone, because that's really kind of like what the TRT is all about. You know, those things we just talked about were potential side effects, potential things to look out for that could be negative. The higher testosterone, getting from 1 to a normal range, was what we were shooting for here. And so on 100 milligrams, I actually ended up at about 31 nmol. So that's higher than the 28.8. It was actually 30.9. So I'm actually up and over just by a smidge normal ranges. And where he wants me to be is either in the high teens or the low 20s. So he feels I'm just maybe a little bit high. And, you know, because a couple of the other things were a little high, we decided that we're going to drop it to 80 milligrams per week. Now, what's the difference really going to be in how I feel between 100 and 80? That's 20 milligrams, right? It's not much. And to be honest, I respond really well to testosterone. Obviously, 100 milligrams gets me up and over and into the ranges that are slightly higher than normal. So my body is utilizing it very well, and I feel good. And all the problems I was having have pretty much, you know, been dealt with by taking the testosterone. And I'm not holding a lot of water. I don't feel like I have any prostate issues. I only pee like once a night now. Everything's great. I mean, everything, sex drive, energy, strength is up. You know, my weight's gone up just a little bit, but not a ton, because I'm not holding a lot of water, which sometimes taking too much testosterone can elevate your estrogens. Now, I'm surprised he didn't test for estrogen. I'm going to ask him to maybe do that next time, but I don't think it's going to be out of line with where I'm at. It may go up into the higher normal ranges, but it shouldn't go much more than that, because it should be in line with your testosterone ranges. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to be taking 80 milligrams. I don't think it's really going to make much of a difference in terms of how I feel or strength. I mean, it's such a little amount, right? 100% versus 80%. It's pretty easy to do the math. And to be honest, I don't think I'll even notice it at all, right? I don't think I'm going to see any muscle loss or strength go down or my body weight change. Just hopefully that'll just sort of help, you know, my RBC, my red blood count, and you know, hemoglobin, and potentially the PSA. So that's kind of what we're going for. And for the next test, again, I'll try not to drink my face off 2 days before the test, so that my liver we're getting a better idea of where my liver's at. Because, you know, I feel good. I take a lot of vitamins that help liver and all that kind of stuff. And my liver, I feel, is good. I don't have fatty liver. I know that because of the foods that I eat and all that. So anyways, that's where we're at. Everything's going great. Again, if you're interested in, if you've gone to your doctor and for some reason you can't get on testosterone, whether it be they're just not a progressive doctor, and even though you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, he's just not, you know, working within the system. So the system's going to say, if you're in between these ranges, you can't get on it. Sometimes you have to look beyond that. And so sometimes a TRT clinic can help you out if you're having all the symptoms of TRT, but you know, you're not within the ranges that the doctors want to see for you to get on testosterone replacement therapy. Somebody could be like, the fact of the matter is somebody could be right in the middle or even on the low side, but in the normal ranges, and have all the symptoms of low testosterone because their body just needs more. Everybody is unique and different, and oftentimes TRT clinics they understand it better. And you know, they're looking for you to feel right and to feel good and to have a good quality of life, and that's what they're after. Okay, so I do have links in the description for TRT in Canada and TRT in the United States. So and I'll put links there so you can check those sites out that I deal with, and I communicate with these people, and everything's good. And I've heard really good feedback from both of these organizations. All right, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.